What was it like going back into the studio after winning the ultimate prize, aka a Grammy?
We we were on tour when we won. We were in New Zealand um, when we won the Grammy, and then when we came back, I was in the studio maybe a month later with Dave and Anthony from my band, and we were writing together up in New York. And I think it wasn't so much like there was pressure or anything. It was kind of like we had been on the road for a while, and then we won the Grammy, and that was like really exciting. And it was actually all just felt like fuel. You know what I mean? It was like It was like helping with creativity and inspiration and kind of just the whole thing, all the things you kind of need to start working on another record. You know, if we started cracking away at it, then I basically spent most of 2018 either touring or writing in the studio. So before you knew it, we had enough stuff to maybe start thinking about another one.
Oh man, I'm so happy to hear that because sometimes you hear the opposite, right? When people win like the big prize, that it just puts pressure on them, but it did the absolute opposite for you guys.
Yeah, I think so. I think to think it would like we were. It's obviously a great honor, and it was you know it was an amazing week or two that it kind of lasted. But at the end of the day, yeah, we the most important thing is making cool music,
Mm-hmm.
and making music you want to make. So
Yeah. I want to talk about the recording process a little bit, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I read that parts of the album is recorded at Electric Ladyland in New York City, and then
yep.
some part is recorded at Sound City in Los Angeles, where you recorded other parts of the album. That's also, I think, the place where Neil Young recorded his album. Um,
Yeah, we were in there's two studios there. Studio A, which is the famous Sound City room. Like that's the room that Dave Grohl made that documentary about. And then there's Studio B, like 20 feet away, which is where, yeah, Neil did after the Gold Rush in that room. It was like a smaller room.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, we have a connection there, so we were able to use Studio B for. It was just me and Sean mixing and overdubbing and doing a bunch of stuff there for weeks on end. But yeah, it was really great.
That is amazing. So, did the history of those places bring anything to the recording process, or is it just for you about gear and equipment, and that's it?
It actually places like that are actually like that iconic. Like you are a part of like a bigger energy. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like, especially at Electric Lady. You go to that Studio One at Electric Lady, underground. You're in the West Village. It's buzzing. You walk in the front door, and then you go downstairs into Jimmy's studio, and it's just like you are entering like another like stratosphere or something. I mean, there's just with like anything from Jimmy to like it's like D'Angelo. It's like so many records
Mm-hmm.
were in that room. And then once you settle in down there and you're playing, and you're like, oh, I haven't gone outside for like 9 hours. It's like it's a very special room. It sounds amazing. It's very creative. It feels very comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And we did, yeah, we worked there about 7 days in November of 2018 before we actually came over and did a tour of Europe in like Netherlands and Belgium. Um, and we got a couple things that ended up on the record, but we were basically set up live for the most part. Like, and I was in my little corner and just kind of, I had an acoustic and I would sing, and then the band would just fall in and we'd see what stuck.
Yeah. Was it an enjoyable
It's very,
process, this album?
yeah, it's thing where it's like the beginning of it is really fun because you think you're going to be done in 2 months. You're like, oh man, we're going to be done with this thing. And then you hit its snags and things, you forget about songs, or songs don't turn out the way maybe you thought they would. But by the end of this record, myself and Sean, my producer and engineer, like we just had we were both really inside of the record. So it was, at the end of the day, looking back now, maybe a month or two, it was really enjoyable. But it's always tough. You always have peaks and valleys of the
Yeah.
process.
Because the title, I Don't Live Here Anymore, it sounds like you're on the outside of something and saying goodbye.
Yeah, I think that is what it's about. Yeah.
What are
I'm
you?
not sure if I know what it is yet, but I think it's probably something about time and something about like just about maybe trying to take control of some aspect of your life that um it's kind of like, it's like I know what I got to do, and that's it's yeah, I think so.
What do you got to do?
Anything you got to do, it's like anytime like anybody has anything where they can see, like they can kind of see their destiny in that way,
Hmm.
and they know they have to just push through whatever is gonna like step up and stand in their way, or um like when you kind of fully when realize the version of your life and yourself that you need to live, then that's all you got to do is make that a reality or something.
Yeah, because Living Proof, the first preview of this new record, you said that it's the most personal thing you've written so far. How so?
It's made more sense, even though I wrote it before I was having a kid.
Mm,
It makes more sense now that I have a child, but I think the purpose of that song was to kind of like, it's almost like a mantra or something, how it just keeps changing between those two chords in the middle section. And I think it's kind of like the idea of like making the promises to yourself or to somebody else, like all the things you're going to do to be the best person you can be, or
right.
admitting that you're kind of, probably everyone's flawed, but everyone has like potential, you know what I mean, within their own life to kind of succeed at the little things.
Right. And in that sense, your
So
baby is the living proof.
I guess so.
That is
Yeah,
beautiful. Yeah. That is so
maybe,
nice.
maybe there you go. Yeah, but yeah, but
Also,
yeah, it's one of those songs like I worked on for a long time. Like I kept adding stuff to it and trying to make it kind of like real psychedelic. And even at one point I was like, this is when I knew I was like working on the record too much. I was like, we were at Sound City, this like beautiful studio, and I had a broom and I was like moving a broom in a circle, and Sean had like 6 microphones on it. And I was like moving a broom in time with the drums, and I was like, I don't know if this is, I'm not sure if this is what we need to be doing.
so
So
did,
we ended up just stripping it way back to basically just make it as stark as we could.
but it is on the record. So it is on Living Proof.
The broom, no, I took it out.
You took it out. Why?
Yeah, because I was like this. I took out basically there was all these background vocals. There was a lot of stuff through that middle section.
Hmm.
And then at the end of the day, I realized I was like, oh no, it needs to be like as stark as possible.
Right.
But that's part of the process. If I didn't, if I hadn't done that, I'd probably be thinking now, man, I wish I could have tried that broom.
A bit more.
But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, so I have two last questions because I know you have a short amount of time. So I just wanted to know, of course, you guys released Live Drugs, which was
yeah.
an amazing trip down memory lane. Um, and I was just wondering, now you've dove into like all your older stuff and then your new stuff, what would you say is the biggest difference between War on Drugs 2008 and War on Drugs that is about to release I Don't Live Here Anymore?
Well, I would say this record is it's way more concise. I feel like we don't have a lot of songs on here that are super long, or like, I don't know, everything's a little bit more, not conventional, but it's just concise. Like I tried to trim the fat off all the songs.
I want to interrupt
And
you for a second because there are a couple bands who can make long songs without being boring, and you guys are one of those.
yeah,
And when I read that there won't be any long songs, I was a little bit heartbroken. I'm going to be honest.
yeah, no, I know. I was like, oh, I'm looking at this track listing. There's nothing that says 12 minutes. There actually, to be fair, there was one song that I was trying to put on that was 32 minutes. It was this jam we did that we started, but as I couldn't find a way to like, it was almost too long to work on. You know what I mean? Because it was so long that we would start working on it, and by the time you're doing a couple overdubs, it's already midnight, you know. But I think that one will show its face on like a sync, like a 12-inch or something. But yeah, I think that's just the way this. There were a couple things that were kicking around that were longer, but this just felt like the most concise kind of collection of songs. And as a live band, you know, 2008 when we started as a band, it was kind of this like almost inspired by like the Animal Collective or something, like kind of like a collective. Like, I mean, granted, it was 4 of them, but I don't know. We just had this like free flowing thing where we maybe had a bass guitar that night, or maybe Dave would be playing something else, or it didn't really have a real focus yet. And now it's like, especially after all the guys are just out here, it's like we're so focused, the 6 of us, on this project and our sounds and really trying to like reinterpret these recordings for the live stage in a way that maybe we haven't really been prepared for yet. Even the last record, like we rehearsed more already for this record just in one trip than we ever did for any other record. So I feel like by the time we actually hit the road, we're going to be able to take these songs and really present them in a way that I think we haven't been able to do before. So yeah, I'm really lucky to be surrounded by those 5 guys, because it's really rare that you have guys growing older, you know what I mean? Guys with their kids and side gigs and stuff that take this as seriously as we all do. It's really what makes it as good as it can be. So
I'm so excited. I can't wait, because I saw you guys are coming to Amsterdam, so I'll be there.
Oh yeah, Ziggo Dome, right?
Yep, I'll be there.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I can't wait.